Welcome to Jackson, Mississippi, and the Lee E. Williams Athletic and Assembly Center. The SWAC regular season is approaching its conclusion, and two teams with things to play for enter tonight. Prairie View A&M pays a visit to Jackson State coming up next. As we get a look at the SWAC tournament, if it was held today, Southern has the top seed. Jackson State currently holding down the 2 spot. Meanwhile, Prairie View A&M trying to hold on to the 10th and final seed of the SWAC tournament. Hello, everybody. Derek Jones and John Williams with you this evening. And, John, as we get set for the SWAC tournament coming up down the line here in March, these two teams both have something to play for as this season reaches its end.
Yeah, Jackson State wants to do everything they can to solidify that number 2 spot by finishing strong in these last 3 games, while Prairie View has Arkansas Pine Bluff on their heels, and they want to do everything they can to create some distance so that they can solidify the number 10 spot.
Now, when you take a look at what's on the line here for both teams, first for Prairie View A&M, they're going to have to try to do this a little shorthanded here tonight. Their spirits are going to have to be high to win this game.
Yeah, they're going to have to play with a lot of energy, understanding that they've got a couple of players out with injury, and they're going to also have to play a little bit smarter. They're a team that likes to pressure the ball 94 feet, and they're going to have to go away from that, playing about 7 or 8 players, and find a way to continue to constrict the game so that Jackson State doesn't get up in the high numbers.
This Panthers team is shorthanded, but it'll be an interesting contrast in styles between the 2 key players, Braylon Bush and Deshaun Ruffin.
Yeah, Braylon Bush is going to have to be the guy depended on for Prairie View to score the ball. He's more of a facilitating guard that manipulates ball screens, but in today's game, he's going to have to shoot the ball. He's going to have to do everything for him. And Deshaun Ruffin, obviously, he can do everything. I mean, the guy is an absolute bucket.
The reason why the Panthers are shorthanded, Tanaj Petway is out with a hand injury. He suffered that in the team's last game on Saturday against Alcorn State. We'll see what Prairie View A&M can come up with on the offensive side as they try to recover after losing the SWAC leading scorer. Action tips off from Mississippi when we return. John Williams with you in Jackson, Mississippi. Panthers and Tigers set to tip it off in just a moment. The head coach of Jackson State, the NBA veteran, Mo Williams. We had a great chat with him today, and he has an eye, obviously, on getting the win tonight, but he also has an eye on much bigger things for his team.
Yeah, I mean, their goal is to win the SWAC tournament, go dancing, and get to the NCAA tournament. They've made that goal, and they're going to try to do everything they can to accomplish that. In order to do that, though, they're going to have to play collectively every minute with the competitive fire.
Byron Smith is no stranger to big games in March, but his team has been up against it this year.
Yeah, he's been plagued with a ton of injuries this season and is doing everything he can to keep the spirits high of his Panthers. And he's a great coach. We've had a handful of conversations with him where, you know, you can see that he is in it for the right reasons.
These two teams met back on January 18th. It was a 79-70 win for Jackson State, and this time they'll try to defend their home floor against the Panthers of Prairie View A&M. And we are underway tonight here from Jackson, Mississippi, as the Panthers, decked out in purple, go to work on offense. We'll see how this Panthers team comes out offensively. Again, without the SWAC leading scorer, Tanaj Petway. Corner 3 is up. That is missed out of the hands of John Paul Ricks. As the Tigers move it down the other side. By the way, a footnote on that January 18th game. Petway had 31 in the loss for Prairie View A&M, so he will definitely be missed.
Yes, he is important in their offensive structure. A lot of their offense runs through them. They run a lot of actions for him to get the ball in his sweet spots where he can score it. And like we talked about, that'll be missed in today's game.
And a goaltend right off the bat against Marcel Bryant. Bryant's a team leader in block shots, but called for the goaltend there.
And what we'll notice here is Prairie View really being in their offense as long as they possibly can and run as much time off the shot clock, because their offense, if they can take care of the ball, is going to be their best defense.
The steal by Hunt inside, good feed, and that will be another goaltend, this time against Ryan Bolton. So the good news is the Panthers shot blockers are activated, John, but 2 goaltending calls to open up the game.
Sometimes a goaltend just lets you know that the ball's not going in the basket for you. You know, I gave you that point. You didn't score that point, and so they're letting them know that the will is at least there to try to protect the basket, even though they might be giving up, even though they're giving up points.
Another turnover, Mansell. Now Ruffin tries a 3. That's good. Ruffin had 26 in the win earlier this season against the Panthers. He's on the board for the first time, and that's the first real field goal in the game. 7-0 Jackson State. Oh, another near steal there. Bush knocks down the 3, so Bush opens up the scoring for Prairie View A&M, and they'll need a lot of that from him tonight, John.
Yeah, and that's what Bush does. I mean, he just went to the open space of the floor after a penetrating pitch action. He's going to be available as long as his guys, his teammates, can get to the middle of the floor.
And Ruffin, a big part of the proceedings here for Jackson State, getting going early.
Yeah. Nice inside-out action there. Mansell found him. No contesting there, so he was able to just step into a wide-open shot there.
Romel Mansell at the line.
I like his game. He's so big for this team and provides that additional size that a lot of teams in the SWAC don't have. I mean, you've got him at 6'9", and Shannon Grant 6'11". I mean, they're the Twin Towers down there.
A big part of Jackson State's success, the ability to get to the free throw line, tops in free throw percentage, tops in also getting to the line in the SWAC.
Well, that means that you're extremely efficient in your offense. You're able to get to the middle of the floor, which is what everybody is trying to do. And then when you get there, you play off of 2 feet and know how to manipulate your defenders.
Marcel Bryant drops in the 3 to cut the deficit down to 2. So, John, without Petway on the floor, does that in any way give confidence to other players for the Panthers thinking, okay, now I'm going to get a chance to extend things offensively?
Confidence and urgency. I think when you know that you got to win a game and do whatever you can to make sure that you guarantee that you are in the SWAC tournament, that urgency, that desperation hits, and other guys are going to do whatever they can to try to step up to that challenge.
An air ball tossed up by Jordan Tillman. The Tigers shifting quickly down the floor. Ruffin already with 5. Mansell working down low, leaning in, off balance, too strong. Nearly corralled there by the Panthers, out of bounds, back over to Jackson State.
You see, that's a possession that has to go to Prairie View. They did a good job of walling up, making Mansell take a lower percentage shot with hands in his face. He misses it. They bring the ball down, but Mansell doesn't give up and creates another offensive opportunity for his team.
Ruffin coming up empty there on the try. Bush and the Panthers back to it on the offensive side. It's a 4-point lead thus far for Jackson State. Bryant. Good look inside, and Bolton got hit across the arms. Will go to the line for a pair.
Yeah, you could see McMillan was trying to sink and seal after the ball movement was there. He was just a little bit late on his transition there. But it looks pretty close there, but I think he got a little bit of arm or hand there on that block.
Dorian McMillan picks up the foul. Bolton at the line for the first. Misses that one. So Prairie View A&M is in a very interesting situation here. While they are the 10th seed at the moment.
At the moment.
As the SWAC tournament looms. If the season ended today, they would be in the 10th spot. However, Arkansas Pine Bluff is a game back with 3 left to go here for Prairie View A&M, and that's one of the tricks. They can still get past here in the standings.
Yeah, it's all about finishing the season strong. And so the Prairie View, I mean, they do have a tall glass of water moving forward. I mean, you're playing against Jackson State. It's one of the top teams in the conference. And then you'll go against Alcorn State, which is a really good team. And then you got Texas Southern, which are some dogs. And so it's just like you're in a constant battle. And so you got to at least try to see if you can get one out of those. While, you know, Arkansas Pine Bluff, their schedule's a little bit easier regarding who's in the standings that they got to see.
The top 10 teams in the SWAC make the tournament. Bottom 2 stay home. Bush missing the 3, tipped around and controlled by Shannon Grant and the Tigers. McMillan, good look inside, and Grant gets stuffed at the rim.
Yeah, fantastic block there. Beautiful move.
Tipped back in inadvertently by Ruffin. So Ruffin puts 2 in the unconventional way.
They're going to give the point to
Panthers.
Sawyer, though. You know, he was in the mix there, but yeah, Ruffin got his hands on it, and that's an unfortunate situation. But you'll live with those because you're playing for the ball.
Bush looking to run. Floater up, and he gets fouled. Quick tempo early on. The defense, though, making their presence felt, John.
Yeah, even though Prairie View is small, they are definitely let it be known that they are trying to erase.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by The General. The General gives you a break on car insurance when you need it most. Getting a look there at Germantown High School players Mike Williams and Mikey Johnson, who were a part of the Germantown High School state championship team. Mike Williams, the son of Mo Williams. Mike is actually coming to Jackson State to play for the Tigers next season.
Yeah, that's an awesome story. Just seeing 2 guys that are been friends for a long time, you know, have their sons come out of nowhere and win a state championship. And, you know, it's cool that Mo's going to get to coach his son. And I don't know if you guys have seen his little highlight mixes. I mean, the boy can boogie, man.
He can play a little bit, for sure. Mikey Johnson, the son of associate head coach Trey Johnson. And how about that? The first championship in the school's 15-year history. A tremendous honor. And you're talking to Coach Williams about the opportunity to coach his son. He said, look, this is not going to be an easy team to just hop right in and play for. You're going to have to earn your spot here on this roster.
Yeah, that's the thing. They've got some really good guards, and the expectation of the guards that they have on this team to come back. And if those guys do come back, I mean, you got to battle. And so, you know, we talked about McMillan being one of the freshmen that are starting here for Jackson State, but he had to go through the gauntlet. When we heard Coach Mo Williams talk about him at the beginning of the season, you didn't really know until he got to see him out there and play. And so you just got to prove your worth every day in practice while you're out there.
And a turnover by the Tigers as that pass could not get to Ruffin in time. And this is one of the, I think, things you look at a game like this for Jackson State. This is kind of a dangerous spot for them. It's against a team, yes, that's in the picture for the SWAC tournament, but a team that is undermanned and one that has struggled mightily to get wins in the SWAC.
Yeah, these are those types of teams that when you have nothing else to lose, why not go all out? And that's what you're seeing from them. They're going to come out and try to compete and win this game.
Bryant misses the 3, and that one heads out of bounds back over to Jackson State. Coach Williams did not think getting up for the game would be a problem considering what Jackson State has to play for. still trying to make their push up the standings potentially in the SWAC.
Yeah, the main thing that they have to do is understand what Prairie View is trying to do right now. They are junking it up. They're throwing different defensive sets at them, trying to slow them down, make them have to run their stuff, and then, you know, just having to think and do, which is difficult.
Grant gets fouled on the catch. It'll be charged to Ryan Bolton. Other action going on in the SWAC tonight. All of these games have finished up with Texas Southern getting a win over Alcorn State. Bethune-Cookman continuing their strong year, and Southern with the win over Florida A&M, and that just about closes the door for Jackson State potentially getting the one, as it will be Southern who represents the SWAC in terms of being the top seed.
Yeah, I think Southern earned it too. I mean, the way they played all season, they pulled out some gut-wrenching wins. They've done a lot to try to do everything that they can to make sure that they have solidified that spot. And so you got to give it to them and what they've been able to do, because this is a tough league, and to win that many games in the league is huge.
Should be a great ESPN Super Tuesday men's basketball doubleheader tomorrow night. Janai Broome and #1 Auburn take on Wade Taylor, and the 4th and number 22 ranked Texas A&M at 9 Eastern, 8 in College Station. Then it's the next Territorial Cup rivalry matchup as Caleb Love and number 24 Arizona host Arizona State at the McHale Center. A 1-point lead here held by Jackson State off the miss.
Tigers ball.
It'll be back over to Jackson State. Mansell. It has been a little bit of a slow start here for Jackson State offensively, as a 3 off the mark. Grant crashing the board, and the Florida A&M transfer extends the lead out to 3.
And this is what works for Jackson State. I mean, they're one of the bigger teams in the conference, using that size with Shannon Grant, who's a load down there, to get another opportunity to score the ball, even on a missed shot, going against that matchup zone that Prairie View's throwing at them.
Five to shoot. Ball tipped around and taken by Mansell. Ruffin. He gets stripped clean. Sawyer on the move, loads up and throws it down. How would you grade that dunk? I know you are
I'll give it a 4.
I set you up on that
one. I'm glad you set me up. I wanted that.
I knew you had an opinion on
you
that
saw
dunk.
my facial expression. You worked real hard for that 4, too.
Corner 3 is down out of the hands of Tamarian Hoover.
When Hoover comes in, provides a spark off the bench, long, athletic, shifty, and spread the floor. You wouldn't think that he's a freshman out there.
Sawyer on the attack. Can't get the jumper to fall. Mansell with the rebound. Another corner 3. Missing, but the follow is right there from Hoover.
And that's the thing, when you are running a matchup zone or a zone in itself, it's going to be hard for you to mark somebody, because there's still going to be constant movement offensively, and you're guarding space.
Tillman able to get rid of the basketball. Ricks pulls up and knocks it down from the free throw line area. The lead at 4 for Jackson State. Mansell stops, feeds a baseline. Hoover tried to dunk it, got denied at the rim, loose, and it will head over to the Panthers. Some high-flying play so far, partner.
I mean, if you want to call it high-flying, I'm going to give it, I told you, a 4, but I appreciate the effort there for Sawyer there. And then you get to see Hoover catching it at the corner, knocking down the 3, keeping this lead for Jackson State.
The SWAC averages 17 points per game. He is out with a broken hand, and that's huge for this team, John, that has labored throughout the season to score the basketball at times. Without him, that puts a lot of pressure on Braylon Bush.
Well, he's the guy, when the offense gets stagnant, he can kind of set it afire again. He always is hunting for his shots, and when he drives to the basket, he demands a level of attention from all 5 players that are on defense to try to figure out what he's going to do. And because of that, he circulates more offense. And so now that he's out, guys can guard players a little bit more honest and not have to worry as much, you know, because they don't have a 3-level threat out there.
Braylon Bush with 5 points to start for a Prairie View team that is shooting 41% from the field in this first half. Four-point lead for Jackson State. Derek Jones and John Williams with you tonight from Jackson, Mississippi. That ball deflected. It will stick with the Panthers.
And that's one thing that a lot of teams track, is deflections out there.
5 to shoot. Bush stuck, pivoting, just hurls it up at the rim. And they'll let him play on. Inside, Jamie Mitchell Jr. And John, as we break down the action here in the first half, give me some of your keys to the game tonight.
Well, I think that one thing that Jackson State has to do is they've got to handle the different sets of pressure that Prairie View is going to try to throw at them. It's going to be different because of their numbers, but they got to handle that pressure. They got to rebound the ball. They have a size advantage. They can take advantage of them on the boards, and then just making sure that they compete. They have to make sure that every possession they don't take one off just because they know that Prairie View's down right now.
Byron Smith hoping that some of these keys hold out.
Well, they got to keep Jackson State out of the paint. They do a really good job of getting to the free throw line, and that is because they can drive to the basket. And then they also have to make sure that they take care of the ball and make sure that they take care of their job on defense. And finally, they got to share the ball.
And that's been one of the important things here that they haven't done a ton of this season, is share the ball effectively. They average 11 assists per game. It's just been an uphill climb for them throughout the course of the season, especially on the defense. And that's one thing we haven't talked about yet, pressuring the basketball. That's something they've been known for over the years. Haven't been able to get that going throughout the course of the season as Elijah Terry scores from down low.
Yeah, Elijah Terry, I mean, if you look at their roster, they've got a ton of guys around that 6'7", 6'6", 6'5", that play in their front court. And a lot of that, too, is because they want agile players that can switch multiple positions and are athletic enough to bang down there with the Lions, Tigers, and Bears.
Tremendous play made there by Braylon Bush. Threw it off of Mansell to give the possession over to the Panthers. And this is an interesting dynamic with this Prairie View team. You look at, and you alluded to it, the height. This is the second smallest team in college basketball. Only Navy is smaller in terms of height than this Prairie View A&M team.
And part of that is by design. I mean, Coach Byron Smith wants those small, active, agile players, and then his bigs are guys that can post up but can also take you off the dribble. As you see, Marcel Bryant's playing the 4-5 for him, but he's also a guy that handles the ball on the perimeter.
Offensive rebound off the Bush miss. Bryant steps into a long jumper, missed it. Grant with the rebound. Juan Reyna the third into the game. Grant rolling to the rim, missed the layup. Still loose and now put back in by Jamie Mitchell Jr.
Jamie Mitchell brings so much to the table for this Jackson State team. Coach Mo Williams talked about how he's got 6 starters that can come out there at any time. Jamie Mitchell's the 6th man off the bench, but also capable of taking over a game as a starter.
A grown man move by Marcel Bryant to earn the and one.
Yeah, Marcel Bryant, I mean, that's a big fella down there. What he was able to do was go right into Jamie Mitchell's chest and create that contact, push him back on his heels, and finish strong.
Able to put that one in to clean up the three-point play. The steal, the run out, the layup is good for John Paul Ricks.
Yeah, and you got to like how Prairie View is playing right now. They are really making Jackson State uncomfortable by throwing different presses at them, different types of matchups at them, and making them uncomfortable.
1-point lead for Prairie View A&M. When we come back, we'll hop into the office with Jackson State head coach Mo Williams.
Basketball coach at Jackson State beat I love, but the coolest thing in my office is this lunch pad. Obviously you see the young Mo with the headband and the braids, team picture. I mean, it's just something I cherish with the jersey in the background. So this will be one of the things that I cherish the most.
How cool is that? Now, look, when I was a youngster, my lunchbox, I rock with the Transformers. I mean, that was the way to go.
Respectable.
Yeah, I mean, Optimus Prime, I mean, come on now.
Yeah, me, I was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, man. Couldn't tell me nothing when I was walking out at school with that bad boy on. And, you know, that I didn't have the mug or whatever because my mom wouldn't let me, use it. But, I had that lunchbox, and I had all types of snacks in there. I was trading. I was hustling out there. I'd sell my Swiss rolls. Yeah.
What was your go-to snack?
Swiss rolls. I would trade those out. The Nutty Buddy bars, I would also, trade those out. It was whatever, that was back when, snacks were, 25 cents.
Yeah.
And you could make a month's worth of that just off, my mom was in heaven out there at Sam's Club.
I was a big grapes guy. I needed that in the lunchbox.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, that's respectable, man. I wouldn't trade that for a Nutty Buddy bar, but if it's there, I'm going to eat it.
Chips, grapes, and then PB&J or a turkey sandwich.
Yeah.
And then the thermos, your little fruit punch. You got something going on there.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't go wrong with the fruit punch. I had the high C carton, you know what I mean? That's what I had.
Oh, that's a party.
Oh, man.
Speaking of partying, how about the move right here by the big fellas, Shannon Grant?
The way Shannon Grant moves, you would not think he is 6'11", 290 pounds. But the guy moves like a ballerina out there with his footwork.
He'll try to clean it up at the line. And he does. The Alabama native gets it going to cut this to a 1-point game. And this has been a surprise so far, I'm sure, for many in attendance. Prairie View A&M with a 1-point lead.
What I'll say is that Prairie View would probably prefer Jackson State to run that zone against them. And a lot of that is because they don't have as much initial pressure on them like it would be in their man-to-man defense. But you can definitely see that Jackson State's working on stuff.
Bush on the run, lays it in.
And that has been a trending issue for Jackson State. As far as the turnover department, I think that is their 7th turnover so far in this game.
A quick lob to Mansell down the other end of the floor to get the deficit back down to 1. Prairie View A&M, meanwhile, has hit on 4 straight field goals to grab this lead of 1. Approaching 6 minutes left to go, first half. Five to shoot, ball deflected inside, missed a little bit too heavy on the shot attempt by Terry. And a rebound for the Tigers.
Here's one thing that you got to consider too. Whenever the ball, if it can get down to the post area, Jackson State is extremely efficient at scoring the ball when they at least get a post entry or a paint touch.
Down the floor for Terry, and that ball knocked away by Grant, out of bounds and off of the Panthers.
You can see Bush here, another situation of great defense from Prairie View, and was able to get in the open floor and finish an easy layup. I mean, when Bush gets out there, he is a blur. I mean, you can see here, Kevion Hunt hitting Ramel Manziel for that nice little alley-oop play, and honestly, it's extremely simple for Jackson State. When you get that ball in the paint, high percentage basketball.
Deshaun Ruffin plants the three to give the lead back to Jackson State. He's put together a nice first half in double figures with 10. On the other end, Sawyer drilling from deep.
Yeah, Sawyer, we talked about it before, even though he's about 6'5", and plays the post position at times for Prairie View, he can also, like many of the post players on Prairie View, can spread the floor from three.
Ruffin thought he got fouled. The three went in nonetheless. Jackson State up by 2.
Yeah, and we're talking about a kid that was highly touted, high school All-American. Like, I mean, he's a different type of player out there that you don't usually see in the SWAC, but we got to tip our hat off to Mo Williams, who is a fantastic recruiter and gets guys on a consistent basis that fall in love with his style of coaching.
Mansell gets it back and throws it down.
What you just saw there was Ramel Mansell being swarmed by little bees, right? Finally, he was able to gather his bearings and get up off the earth and bam that thing. I mean, that's what he's looking to do. But when you got little guys out there with those quick, active hands, it can be tough.
Bryant knocks over Ruffin, no call, shot missed. Terry tried to tip it back, got fouled. A 4-point advantage for Jackson State. Deshaun Ruffin starting to cook.
Yeah, Ruffin showing his ability to knock down threes, even with manipulating ball screens and taking contact. And Ramel Mansell corralling the ball and slamming it with full. If you want to tune in and watch some great basketball, you want to watch teams competing for a chance to dance, to go dancing in March Madness, this is the time. You get to see the best version of teams. You get to see those teams peaking at the right time and finding ways to upset but also maintain, and so it's going to be good basketball.
A lot of dreams will be fulfilled.
And a lot of dreams will be shattered.
Yes, look at you. Always, you're one step ahead of me. I like it. I like it. But you're absolutely right. I mean, that's a big part of the drama that comes with Champ Week. One team heads to the NCAA tournament, and other teams head home for the rest of the season. 5 college basketball rivalry games highlight our ESPN schedule Saturday. It all starts at noon Eastern with Kentucky, Missouri. But these are our featured matchups. Number 1, Auburn hosts number 7, Alabama at 2:30 Eastern, followed by number 24, Arizona and Kansas. Then Cooper Flag and second-ranked Duke take on North Carolina. The legendary Duke-North Carolina rivalry continues. And then number 4, Houston and Baylor capping the night at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Mansell lays it up and in to beat the shot clock.
I think Mansell recognized and realized that he's 6'9" out there. He used that length to jump over Sawyer and finish that ball with the inside hand.
Good look inside to Sawyer.
Yeah, what a great reply there for Sawyer there. You got to see Jackson State a little late on their transition there in their defense. Sawyer capitalized on that.
Byron Smith has to be somewhat pleased with what he's seen so far in this first half with only 7 players in the rotation.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely extremely happy. You have to be with what you have and not having your best player. See there, Mansell with that pretty finish there. But Prairie View is doing the job on the defensive end, which is why they are still in this game. I mean, they have caused 11, or they've scored 11 points off of 7 turnovers. And that means that Jackson State's not taking care of the ball due to the different types of defenses that Prairie View is throwing at them. That was a plan there to keep them off of their offensive rhythm, because you know how dangerous Jackson State can be once they get into that offensive rhythm.
2 for Mansell. 5-point advantage for Jackson State as they slip into his own defense. Deshaun Ruffin leading all scorers in this game with 13. He's Jackson State's leading scorer on the season. Sawyer tries a 3, left it short. Two minutes left to go, half one. McMillan will crank and hit.
That's what makes McMillan such a highly touted player. It's another guy that we talk about that Coach Mo Williams was able to bring on board. Guy that was getting recruited by teams in the American and the ACC, but talk about how great of a coach and how great of a recruiter Coach Mo Williams is.
Things getting dangerous here for this Prairie View A&M team. Jackson State has hit on 5 of their last 7 field goals. Bryant trying to get a step at the baseline, cut off by Mansell. Nearly lost the ball, and it'll stick with the Panthers. 6 seconds to shoot.
You could see Jackson State starting to pick it up a little bit on the intensity area there against Prairie View and making it tough for them. And right now they got 6 seconds to go, and you can see that Jackson State transitioned from that 1-3-1 to that man-to-man defense that I don't think Prairie View was ready for.
McMillan again from deep.
Talked about freshmen coming in right away. You don't see it. It's quite rare nowadays where you got freshmen coming in and being impact players for their teams in such an old league of basketball.
Bryant gets the offensive rebound, loose change in the lane, collected by Terry, who puts it in. And there's an injury along the baseline for Jackson State as Ruffin is in some pain.
Yeah, that's never good.
Not quite sure what happened, but he is writhing around on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Looked like he got poked right there in the eye. They are going to review that last sequence to see if there's anything of note. And Bryant looked like he just caught Ruffin there, John.
Yeah, Ruffin caught a little poke to the eye there. I think they're looking to see if there was any intent. Marcel Bryant. But I think Marcel Bryant lost the ball for a second, and so he's not looking at Ruffin as far as where he is. He's just trying to get the ball back at that point.
And it looked like that was just a backhand by Bryant, as both players trying to compete there for the basketball. And it looks like we'll have a final word here. Incidental contact. They'll play on. So that's the thing. You take a look at those plays to make sure you get them right, and that officiating crew makes the right call there in a 9-point game.
Well, they might not have looked at it if Marcel Bryant wasn't still yapping after the fact that Ruffin was on the ground rolling. But Marcel Bryant was more upset at the fact that there wasn't a call with the initial hit from Ruffin, you know, taking the ball out of his hands. And he said there was some contact there.
This Jackson State run over the back end of this first half has allowed them to build a 9-point lead, shooting 53% in the first half. Approaching 40 seconds left to go in half one. Reyna. McMillan, who's been hot as of late from three. Mansell with 5 seconds to shoot. Mansell flips it with the right hand and in.
Their points per possession is at a very efficient rate when they get the ball into the paint. And even though we know what Prairie View is trying to do, which is prevent that from happening, Jackson State still has to find ways, innovative ways to get that ball to guys like Mansell and Shannon Grant.
Good look inside to Sawyer, who puts it in off the glass to close out the scoring in the first half. A 9-point lead for Jackson State. The Panthers, give them credit, shorthanded, battled, but the Tigers were tremendous late.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of staying in this game and finding ways to be creative defensively and making it tough for Jackson State to get into an offensive rhythm.
Kevin Connors, Seth Greenberg, and Dallin Cuff coming up from the studio in just a moment. Jackson State leads it at the half by 9. Tigers fans have plenty to celebrate with a 9-point lead. Derek Jones and the Jet, John Williams, with you. You know a thing or two about dancing, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Y'all got to Google me. I get after it.
It's a 9-point advantage for Jackson State. Take me through your thoughts here on that first half, especially on the side of the Panthers, who are without the SWAC leading scorer in Tanaj Petway.
They've made great adjustments in today's game by mucking it up, making it extremely difficult for Jackson State to get into an offensive rhythm by throwing different defensive traps at them, different defensive sets at them. And so Jackson State got several turnovers, 7 of them, where Prairie View was able to capitalize on that and score the ball and get themselves into an offensive rhythm. But you saw at the back end of that first half where Jackson State was starting to figure out what they were doing, score the ball, and it all started with their forward play and getting it into the interior.
Romel Mansell had a big first half for Jackson State, double-figure score with 11 points.
Yeah, he was definitely imposing his will in that paint area, taking that alley-oop right there, getting the ball, finishing the ball with force with a big-time dunk, and then here using his pivots and finishing over Sawyer there. But Sawyer definitely showed us what he is capable of in the interior as well, crashing the boards, creating second-chance points for his teammates, but then also letting his defense transition into his offense with that dunk right there, which, like I said, I want him to show me a little bit more next time around, but also showing his ability to spread the floor from 3. And so he's had a big first half, and we'll see if he can reciprocate in that second half.
Sawyer and Mansell each with 11. Also, another key, Deshaun Ruffin of Jackson State with 13. But take a look at that rebounding number, 21-10 edge for Jackson State. And that's been one of the big problems all season long for Prairie View A&M. They can't control the boards.
Yeah, one thing that they do really well at is getting turnovers, getting possessions that way, getting steals, things of that nature. But where they have suffered at, where their Achilles heel is, like you said, has been on the boards due to the lack of size that they have in the interior. And so Jackson State, being one of the bigger teams in the league, especially with the Twin Towers down there, and Mansell and Shannon Grant being able to impose their will in that paint.
Off the bat, Grant trying to get going down low, cannot. And the Panthers will take it the other way. Offensive rebounding doubled up by Jackson State, 8-4, as a part of that plus 11 rebounding effort in the first half. Plus 11, that is a theme that is hounding Prairie View A&M. That's the rebounding differential for them on the season. In terms of, on the other side of it, they're minus 11 in the rebounding department.
Yeah, it's hard to win games when you can't get the rebound, especially on the defensive end, so that you can get into your offense. And so right now, I feel like sometimes they're already taking off for the fast break when you've got a gang rebound. Everybody to a man has to do their job in trying to see if they can get that possession.
Dorian McMillan had a couple of buckets in the first half. Can't deliver there in a 7-point contest. And that's going to be a walk against Marcel Bryant.
Well, that's a possession that's going to disrupt their momentum a little bit for Prairie View, because they were able to get themselves a stop by forcing McMillan to take a low percentage shot. They isolated Jackson State on one side of the floor and made it extremely difficult for them to get any offensive circulation.
Byron Smith, a very agitated coach on the side of Prairie View A&M. McMillan all the way to the cup and one.
Yeah, Coach Byron Smith is livid at this point, because one thing that Prairie View cannot allow is mistakes on the defensive end. And so you could see there, bad closeout, bad rotation, and McMillan made him pay for it.
Third player in double figures tonight for Mo Williams Tigers. McMillan up to 11 points, 4 of 6 shooting from the field, with a couple of three-pointers in the mix. Nice move inside by Braylon Bush, who will have to shoulder the scoring load, and he comes up with a steal there as he pokes it away. Sawyer inside the layup, off the window and down for Marcel Bryant.
And 2 quick ones there for Prairie View. You could see that Jackson State tried to put out a little bit of ball pressure, but when you got a guy like Bush, who is as quick as lightning and has great body control, he knows how to contort his body and finish.
Grant grabs inside and puts it in.
Yeah, and Shannon Grant, I mean, that's just the relief valve right there. When the ball touches his hands, it's automatic for him.
Bush missing with the 3, tipped to Hunt. Hunt gets a step, the lob for Mansell, who tips it in, plus the foul.
At that point, talk about rotations there. Prairie View was late on the rotation. At that point, they couldn't do anything but foul Mansell. Tried to push him under the rim, but he's already in a place to put the ball in the basket there. And that's a tough finish. You got to have body control, and you got to get up off the earth, be able to still find a way to put it in the basket.
That free throw, you don't see those things hang up on the top of the backboard often.
It was dancing up there.
10-point lead thus far. You haven't done one of those in your day, did you?
No, it's either going in or out.
A foul picked up by Romel Mansell.
Yeah, Marcel Bryant taking it upon himself to get downhill, get aggressive there, letting those emotions be known.
And Bryant connects on the and one. He's played well in this contest. Ruffin, who led the team in scoring in the first half. Good look inside to Grant, who sticks it home.
And the thing is with Shannon Grant, because he's big and strong and imposing down there, he doesn't look for the foul and not see the play through. He's playing as if they're not going to call the foul, and he finishes through the contact. He's had 2 possessions there where it could have been called a foul.
Jordan Tillman got some contact got the bucket as well. 55-48 to score. Jackson State up. Jackson State locked into that 2 spot in the SWAC and the upcoming SWAC tournament. The floater falls for Kevion Hunt.
Yeah, Kevion Hunt, fast, strong, also has great body control. Was able to keep the defender on his hip and get to his floater.
Bush explodes to the rack, but a little bit too heavy on the release. McMillan. Mansell pops out. The kick to McMillan from deep. No good. Grant grabs a rebound and puts it home.
It's not much you can do with big fella down there. And right now you can see he's starting to come alive in the second half where he is demanding the ball. Even if they don't pass it to him, he's crashing the boards with reckless abandonment.
Tillman pops in a 3. And Byron Smith calls a timeout with his team trailing by 8. The Panthers trying to dig back into this game.
Yeah, we're seeing Shannon Grant turn it into Shaq down there in the paint. Dominating down there on the boards, showing that soft touch around the basket.
A real man.
What makes Jackson State so different this year from last year is the fact that they've got a dominating force in the paint. They've always had great guard play, but when you get a guy like Shannon Grant that is almost automatic when the ball touches his hands, it's high percentage basketball. He's the guy that can do it on all ends of the floor. He can give you nothing and take everything. And when he gets the ball, he's got great pivots, can finish over both shoulders, great touch around the basket, and catches everything, and also knows how to pass out of double teams.
He averaged 10 and 4 last year at Florida A&M. Hit the transfer portal and ended up here at Jackson State. And he's doing pretty similar things for the Tigers. Ahead to McMillan. The aforementioned Grant may have gotten fouled at the rim. The contest put together by Marcel Bryant.
And sometimes when you're big like that, it's almost like the officials expect you to make the shot. And there's so many times where we saw it last year where Shannon Grant, like, we're going to let him get away with that because he's big. He can take it. But at the same time, sometimes, you know, he can get altered by that contact. You hit his hand and grab it and pull it down, he's going to miss.
The lead remains at 8. Ruffin all the way to the rim, and that basketball should have been grabbed by Elijah Terry. He fumbles it out of bounds. Back to the Tigers when we come back.
Championship Sunday, presented by Principal.
Every year, I mean, he brings in competitive groups. He recruits well. He's great with X's and O's. I mean, just a player's coach out there. Saw him out there celebrating with his guys. It was fantastic.
Grant adds 2. How fitting is it that St. John's is on this tremendous run within the same season that legendary head coach Luke Harnaseka passed away, as Grant comes up with the block and will stay with the Panthers.
See what I'm talking about? He's got those ballerina feet, right? Like, you see how quick he gets off the ground. You wouldn't think that. Moves extremely well. I mean, I know he's, 290 pounds, but he's got 200-pound feet.
He moves quite well. Bush finds room for deep, missed it. Terry swooping in.
That's one I want to see. I want to see what he's got down there.
Almost got it, Mansell with the lob.
I'll take that one. Hey, I'll take that one. That's a traffic alley-oop right there. That's when you can't really see it. There's somebody in front of you, and you still find a way.
I almost feel like we need you holding a judge's scorecard to score some of these dunks during the course of the game.
Next time we do one together, man, you tell Tony to give us a dunks contest scorecard, and I'll put it up there.
To the post for Grant. Wide open from deep, missing it is Mitchell. out of bounds, back over to the Panthers. How about the hops here from Mansell, John?
Yeah, running the floor like a gazelle, gets out there, you know, puts it up and dunks it. I mean, I love that kind of basketball where you got bigs that are really sprinting the floor and roughing. They've had a little bit of ESP with each other for a long time now.
15 and 7 for Romel Mansell. He had a game earlier this season where he had 17 rebounds. So he can hurt you in a couple of different ways, and he's doing it again tonight to Prairie View A&M.
He's a fantastic complementary player on this team. He's kind of like the heart and soul, plays with a ton of energy, plays with a type of force and physicality that a lot of teams aren't ready for on a consistent clip, and just does the dirty work. And so he's rewarded with it on the offensive end from time to time, like we're seeing today.
Hunt will take a breather. Inbounded to Sawyer. Sawyer, floater is in, plus the foul. So Zakir Sawyer with the and one opportunity.
And officials are trying to converse about it to see if whether or not he was on the floor or not, but it looks like he was already up when the contact hit.
Tell you what, Sawyer has brought a lot of energy here tonight. As they have both coaches now near midcourt. Byron Smith trying to get an explanation from the officials. And they're taking a look here for possible basket interference.
Oh, okay, I see it now. I don't think he did enough to the rim to alter anything, but he did touch the rim.
Well, that will be something they will take a look at here. Meanwhile, Sawyer, if he's able to get the bucket there. Look, Sawyer came into the game averaging over 4 points a contest. He's one of the players that clearly they're going to need to lean on for some sort of offensive production. Without Tanaj Petway, the SWAC leading scorer.
Yeah, well, there he just attacks the late closeout from Shannon Grant. Knows he's got the speed advantage there, but oh yeah, he pulled it down though. I mean, you gotta at least take a look at it. You see him look at his teammate. What are you doing, man? You're always trying to dunk something.
Well, you brought it up earlier. Elijah Terry was
I
trying
like
to
a guy
come
that
in.
tries to get over the rim on a consistent basis, but sometimes though, it can get you in trouble. I've done it once or twice because I'm trying to catch it and throw it back in, but touch that rim and, you know, they'll call it.
So no basket is the official call. So the layup by Sawyer wiped away. However, you do have to consider that the foul did count. As we take a look at upcoming NBA action headed your way, the Miami Heat pay a visit to the Cleveland Cavaliers at 7 p.m. Eastern. That will be followed by SGA and the OKC Thunder taking on the Memphis Grizzlies at 9:30 Eastern. It all begins with NBA Countdown at 6:30.
You see that alley-oop Ja caught a couple of games ago?
I did, yes.
Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Pretty lethal. I mean, what a great night of action coming up. Wednesday night doubleheader with Donovan Mitchell. And the Cavaliers after that outstanding win against Boston. Yes. Pretty impactful there as the Cavs overcame that awful
deficit
start. 25-3 lead for the Celtics.
It just shows you how deadly Cleveland is this year. I mean, they're the real deal, and I don't think anybody was expecting that.
Jackson State with an 11-point lead as Sawyer rolling to the rim again. And he's able to get the whistle again.
Because, I mean, he's a sturdy kid, big shoulders, uses them well, absorbs contact. If he can get a small head of steam on you, he can use those shoulders to get himself an angle and get to the line like you're seeing right now.
And Sawyer misses the first. Transfer from Tarleton State. Mansell will head out. Reyna back on the floor for Jackson State. One more for Sawyer. The lead at 11, 63-52.
Seeing a little jump trap coming from Prairie View. You think that you had the rebound and you can go down and run some offense, they'll jump you right away.
Hoover. 7 seconds to shoot for Ruffin. Ruffin crossing over. Leans, misses the layup. Grant right there. Offensive rebound and follow.
That's what I'm saying. He's got such soft hands. I mean, he brings it down. You got to think about the level of force you have to input to be able to rebound the ball like that. And then you got to go up. You're that close to the basket. Got to have a soft touch to make that shot.
Bryant with the turnaround J. Off the mark. This is the largest lead of the game for Jackson State as Ruffin can't add to it. Comes up with a steal. Gets it back from Reyna. Easy layup for Deshaun Ruffin.
And Deshaun Ruffin, on that last miss that he had, the last two misses, he draws a ton of attention, a ton of eyes, and it opens up offensive rebounding for guys like Shannon Grant, Ramel Mansell.
Ruffin now the third player for Jackson State with 15 points in this game. That's the lead right now for the Tigers. Off the missed three, a Reyna rebound. Ruffin taking his time with his team up by 15 points. Ruffin tries to split the defense all the way into the cup. Can't finish it off. And now ahead for Ricks. Ricks takes it in, gets stuffed by Grant. Hoover able to come up with the block on Bush.
What a fantastic defensive possession right there. Jackson State was able to show their transition defense, but Shannon Grant has been a fantastic addition on the board, showing that soft touch around the basket. And you see there on the defensive end, defense by committee for Jackson State. Not sold on Duke yet, but I think that they've earned it. But, you know, the conference has just not been what it's been in the past, and so that's why I feel like that. But they've had enough respectable wins in the non-conference to carry them to that 1 seed. But intrigued to see how they do.
Well, to further your point about Duke, one of the interesting dynamics coming up, and we'll see how it plays out, there's a chance the ACC only gets in 3 teams in this NCAA tournament. If that is the case, it would be the first time that happened since 99-2000.
I mean, that's crazy, man. And here's my thing on that, too. I mean, I know the SEC's got 13.
That would be a tournament record as well.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, after watching them, like, I mean, I gasp every time I watch them playing against each other. You clutch your pearls, man, because it is just extremely physical basketball. And I look around all the other conferences, and I'm like, they're not really doing it like that. And so it could be more than 13 if I'm going to be real about it. All right? Like, no.
We shall see as we draw closer to Champ Week. And, of course, Champ Week going on right now with the A-Sun tournament. But as we dig deeper into Champ Week and beyond here, we'll see how things shake out with the SEC and, of course, the ACC. And just who is able to reach the NCAA
Let me
tournament?
ask you a question. I mean, if the SEC took one more bid from the ACC, right, and just said, I'm going to take 14 and give you 2, would anybody really say, like, is that's unfair? I can't say that you can say that's unfair.
Oh, well, I think there are some who might argue with you.
They're just fans. I want you to use your eyes and watch.
Mitchell working with Mansell. Mitchell gets the drop from Mansell. Tries the 3, can't get it to drop. Out of bounds, and it is off the Panthers. A slew of purple jerseys there for Prairie View A&M, and they still can't get the ball.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Prairie View. I mean, they've been doing everything they can to try to make sure that they get the defensive rebound and still somehow give Jackson State another opportunity.
The 3 is down for Tamarian Hoover.
Yeah, we talk about it like this guy's a freshman. I mean, McMillan is a freshman.
Bush drops in 2 for the Pink. Bush up to 15 points now. 2 over a season average. Mitchell from the corner missed the 3. The follow was there from Hoover.
Yeah, Hoover doing it on all levels there. I mean, he's out here knocking down 3s, but also crashing the boards.
Hoover's up to 10 points as Bush short on the jumper. And the rebound controlled as the Tigers working back down the floor. The bump along the baseline of Mitchell. And this is the fear in a game like this for Prairie View A&M. And actually they'll say Mitchell stepped out of bounds. You just, with 7 guys, know that you might be on borrowed time in terms of energy and ability. As Terry tried to dunk there and dropped nonetheless.
I respect it. I've been waiting on this. You know what I mean? And obviously you're going against a guy that can block shots. So, you know, I appreciate the confidence and the courage to say, I'm going to try you out right quick.
Terry's been looking to get on SportsCenter here tonight.
He's trying. I want him to get there.
The Rainmaker 3 is in from Juan Reyna III, the San Antonio, Texas native. Dents the scoreboard tonight to make it a 19-point lead for the Tigers. An efficient night from deep for Jackson State, 8 of 16 from 3. Fading away from the rim is Ricks, and he's able to draw the foul. And how about the play here of Hoover, John?
Yeah, another freshman phenom that Coach Mo Williams has in the roster there, showing the ability to knock down the 3 as well as crashing the boards, creating second chances for Jackson State.
Version of the Jet Awards.
Oh yeah, man, like my coach of the year, Reggie Theus, man, he's been doing a fantastic job over there at Bethune-Cookman. And, you know, we got to tour the campus and see what they got going on over there, all the improvements that they're making. He's the AD, but also, you know, the coach of the basketball team, and finding ways to win games and be at the top of the conference is a testament to how he's been able to bring in guys year in and year out. Player of the year is Sterling Young. I mean, he can really shoot the ball from a high clip, and then I like how he scores it. FAMU, I don't think anybody's expecting them to be as good as they are this year, and a lot of that is because of Sterling Young. And defensive player of the year, I was torn between Derek Tesino as well as Nunley from Southern, who both really do a good job of guarding, you know, multiple positions, but Tesino can guard 1 through 5, and so I had to go with him. And he's got great hands, gets deflections, gets steals, does a little bit of everything for Southern.
What's the trophy look like that the recipients will get? Is it that photo of you as a Harlem Globetrotter?
No, I wouldn't give him that. I mean, I would, you know, I'd give him me with a very serious pose. You know what I'm saying? When you get my blue steel look, you know what I mean? And then, like, you know, just saying like, hey, this is excellence right here, sir.
Or maybe a bow tie.
Give him a bow tie. That's excellence as well.
Reyna can't finish that off. That ball is knocked out of bounds, and Ryan Bolton is slow to get up. They cannot afford to lose another body at this point, because again, if you're joining us late, they're without now in the SWAC tournament, as Reyna trying to ball down low, can't get it to go. The shot clock expires, and that will give the possession over to Prairie View A&M.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that Prairie View bench, and it is 3 active available bodies on that bench right now. And slowly but surely, I mean, it's just dwindled as the season has progressed. And, you know, part of that's a testament to how hard those guys play. On the defensive end, they sacrifice their body. They play extremely hard. So, you know, sometimes, some years, it comes with that territory. You see Coach Byron Smith still standing up, still moving, still active, still coaching up his guys.
As they try to compete and hold on to that 10th spot, the 10th and final spot in the SWAC tournament. Bryant, backdoor feed, nice look down low. The layup is in for Elijah Terry.
Yeah, that was a great find there for Marcel Bryant.
Bryant's played well tonight.
I like him. I mean, he plays with a sense of meanness to him, a sense of dog, and I can tell why Coach Byron Smith likes him out there.
Ball loose in the lane. And now Bryant gets into a little bit of a collision with Marcus Watson Jr.
Yeah, a little bit of activity there, but also a little bit of a Jetty Award acting there, would you say? We giving out acting awards to both sides, you know?
I mean, he grabbed his face after the follow through on the elbow that was near his belt line, not his face.
Kind of reminds you of toddlers at a daycare when they're both trying to tell on each other.
The three is in from Braylon Bush. This is still a game. It's a 13-point lead for Jackson State. We talked to Mo Williams about this earlier today, and he said, you know, his hope was the starters would come in and, you know, not have to expend a ton of energy in this game, but Prairie View A&M has given them a go tonight as Bryant with the steal. Bryant leaning in off the glass for 2.
So I'm saying, you got to like his energy. You got to like how he plays out there. It's tough, man.
4:55 left to go as the lead is at 11. Ruffin swings a pass inside for Mansell, who gets fouled, and the bucket. And he is barking.
Like we talked about, Marcel Bryant has been doing a lot of talking in today's game, and Mel Mansell had enough of it. Letting him know. He didn't say anything bad. He just kept saying "and one."
And there's going to be a technical foul.
Still yelling it after the tech.
Mansell will get the tech. So it's a double technical foul. Or check that, it's just Mansell getting the technical foul. Bush will go to the line. There was a foul called on the back end of that to set up the and one call. That was against Elijah Terry.
It was all about the intent behind it. What I found out is that you can get a tech. I mean, you could say something extremely nice to somebody, but if you're yelling it and you make eye contact, it's the eye contact. That's what got him, man. You just sit there and scream and one to the ceiling, you're good, but he was staring at Bryant's soul, letting him know. And one.
Another double-double for Mansell as he misses the free throw. 17 and 10 tonight, along with 5 assists. A stat stuffer night from Romel Mansell. Bush, long three is good. 8-point game.
I like it.
The Panthers storming back. Under 4.5 left to go.
And that's what I'm saying. You know, Coach Smith does not stop coaching these guys up and challenging them to find a way.
And Grant with the answer.
And ain't nothing you can do with that. You know, it kind of reminds you of when he does that drop step spin that he uses. Wow.
Bush gets fouled while shooting a three, and he'll go to the line.
About like Shannon Grant, you know, but there rejects the screen, gets to his steps, and you know, we've had nothing but good things to say about McMillan, but you know the cardinal rule, do not foul the three-point shooter, but he had just hit one. So that kind of was in the back of his mind, like, I don't want him to score another one, but at this point, you got to let it go.
You wonder if Bush here is trying to collect himself. There's trying to straighten something up at the monitor to double check and see where that foot was when he took the shot. And 5 college basketball rivalry games highlight our ESPN schedule on Saturday. And that is kind of a good segue to talk a little more Duke. I do want to ask you about the National Player of the Year race between Janai Broome and Cooper Flagg.
Cooper Flagg's the real deal. I mean, he really is. I mean, he can do everything. He can shoot the three. He can. And the reason why Duke is number 2 is because of Cooper Flagg. I mean, what he brings to the table, he demands so much attention when he has the ball in his hands. He's also good on the defensive end. Janai Broome, I mean, can do a little bit of everything. He can show his ability to shoot the three now. I mean, he can post you up. It's automatic when he gets it in the post. But also what I think is underrated from him is his ability to pass out of double teams, hit the open man, gets a ton of assists off of that. And so he's also a guy where you just got to be respectful and say, like, he's supposed to be there, and he could definitely win this thing.
All the way in is McMillan as he gives a little flex after the layup to get the lead back to double figures at 10. With just over 3.5 left. Bush, pull-up three, no good. Tip back outside. McMillan comes away with it. McMillan tried to throw it down, and that will be Prairie View A&M basketball. McMillan trying to end the SWAC season with that dunk.
I'm with that. I'm with that. I love it. I love the intent. I love the courage. I love the challenge. Even misses can make top.
Braylon Bush, 25 points, 3 3-pointers. Romel Mansell, 17 and 10. Another double-double for the Jackson State star. 6 turnovers, though, for the Tigers in the second half, John. That's allowed Prairie View to sneak back into this.
Yeah, that's what has allowed Prairie View to get themselves back in it, is them getting more possession, where Jackson State has been a little stagnant on the offensive end. A couple of, situations where, see, they took their foot off the gas just a little bit. but they've showed a little bit of resolve in trying to find a way, get themselves back in that offensive rhythm.
These two teams, we know on the side of Jackson State, they'll be a part of the SWAC tournament. Prairie View A&M trying to hold off Arkansas Pine Bluff over the next week. They hold a slim one-game lead over Arkansas Pine Bluff for that final spot in the SWAC tournament. Bryant stuck back outside to Bush. 10 to shoot for Bush. Bryant inside, has the ball ripped away from him, but a tie-up. The jump ball called, and the possession arrow working in favor of the Panthers.
Hey, did you see Shannon Grant sign the ball after he got it? It's impressive. I like it. First off, the fact that he played with verticality, got the ball.
3 to shoot. Bush missing the 3. Maybe took that a beat too early.
I agree, but you know, Bush being a smaller player, he's going to look for any type of opening that he can get, but I think he could have been more patient in that offense, got himself a better shot.
Ruffin into the corner. The 3 is good. Jamie Mitchell Jr. provides a little more breathing room for the Tigers.
Yeah, Jamie Mitchell has been all over the rim as far as, you know, the three-point shot. It just hasn't gone in for him. That was one you could see where he was relieved there.
The battle down low with Terry, and Terry is fouled. A 13-point lead for Jackson State. If the SWAC tournament was held today, that's a look of how things would stand. Southern is in strong shape with that top spot with the #1 seed. Meanwhile, the 2 spot occupied by Jackson State, Bethune-Cookman at 3. Prairie View A&M right now is at the 10 spot, but they have a game lead over Arkansas Pine Bluff. It is our understanding that the top 2 tiebreakers for the SWAC tournament, when it's 2 teams, the first one's head-to-head. Prairie View and Arkansas Pine Bluff split. The next one is point differential in the 2 games between those teams. That is dead even. So then it goes to how you did against higher-ranked teams in the SWAC, and for now, that advantage would go to Arkansas Pine Bluff. Ruffin with 3 to shoot. Ruffin fade away. Got it.
That's where you can see that McDonald's All-American caliber player scoring those tough shots that most people in the SWAC cannot make. Shows how he's a difference maker.
Ruffin crossing the midcourt line. The fans roaring with approval. They had their senior day festivities on Saturday. These fans still supporting this crew as Grant fumbles the ball away. Bryant trying to take it by himself. Nearly coughed it up, and now a tie-up and a dust-up here on the sideline. No one ceding ground. No one wanting to give up possession of the ball. A tug of war in Jackson, Mississippi. The possession arrow points in favor of Jackson State when somebody decides to let go of the basketball.
Somebody just got ejected. Both of them, get out of here. That's what they said. It's like 2 pit bulls on top of a ball. You know what I mean? Nobody wanted to let go.
There's a shoe that Mansell is holding up and dancing with right now. The officials have got to restore some order here.
Yeah, both players have, I assume, have been ejected for not listening to the officials when they said let go of the ball. At this point, you see McMillan just, at this point, he's like, I know I'm a freshman. I know that. But I am not letting go of this ball. And you see Bryant, I'm not letting go. All the officials are around them saying, let go of the ball. They're not letting go of the ball.
So McMillan and Bryant have been tossed officially. And again, as John, you talked about, neither player wanted to give ground. That's why they got tossed.
Yeah, like at that point, it was more, that was those situations where it was, I'm not letting go of the ball.
And this is one of the happiest ejections
that I've seen in a while.
You will ever see.
And you saw, like,
and
Coach Mo Williams was like, hey, man, he gave him that. He gave him a high five. He was just like, hey, I appreciate you standing your ground. And the reason being is because Bryant has tried to bully guys the entire game. And so he liked seeing his young guy, you know, step it up. Now, if this is in a tight game situation, we had a game like that where the emotions went over and it was detrimental to the other team. And so this is a situation where the game is already had, and it is just a stance there that McMillan was trying to make, just let him know, I know that I'm a freshman, but I'm not the one to steal on.
An air ball tossed up, and in case you could not tell, yes, McMillan, who lost his shoe during that skirmish, did get it back from Romel Mansell. 14 seconds left to go. Bush stripped of the basketball. And it is closing time here in Jackson, Mississippi. 88-74 win for Jackson State. They down the Prairie View A&M Panthers here, John.
Yeah, I appreciate Prairie View's resolve, their toughness. They fought, did everything that they could. But Jackson State is on a run right now and playing with great momentum going into the SWAC tournament.
Jackson State entrenched in second place in the SWAC. That'll do it for our entire crew. For John Williams, I'm Derek Jones saying so long. Have a good night, everybody.